up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up.
Hey, hello, and welcome to Rock and Jess World Podcast, the podcast series where we talk about love, God, and relationships. I'm Rock.
And I'm Jess, and today's episode we're going to talk about how Will Smith got up at the Oscars and smacked Chris Rock. Oh my goodness.
It's going
to be some kind of show today.
Oh, this is going to be the show of shows because this is all over the internet. This is all over social media.
Yes.
I mean, you really can't. I mean, they done remixed the slap sound
Yes.
to a rap song now.
People dancing to it.
Yeah, it's just...
People they don't take time. They get right on it.
You know, I saw a meme. Okay, we'll just get... Because it's just everywhere. We're just inundated. It's just... I want to say it's being overdone. But the internet is never undefeated.
That's right.
Even when we think it's been done too much, somebody somewhere is going to come out with something that's a little bit more...
A different spin, yeah.
than what we thought was possible.
And then here's our spin.
Right. And here is our spin.
Okay.
So one of the things that I wanted to bring up, I want to start with Chris Rock, if you don't mind.
That's fine.
Chris Rock. It's a great thing with the, and I think, yeah, you good. So Chris Rock, just thinking about Chris Rock as far as you good. Just trying to make sure all of our sound and everything is good here. Chris Rock was doing his job at the Oscars. Y'all know I'm not an Oscars fan. Jess, I don't know if you are.
I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah, I had watched it. It's just not my show. I've never remembered growing up running into the house. Oh my God. The Oscars are on. The Oscars are on, and I need to make sure that I get... No, that's never been my story. But I do want to say this. So at the Oscars, you know, they always have some comedian that's going to be there that's going to be the host, right?
Yes.
And so when they have this comedian there as the host, the comedian does things like talk about people.
Yes.
He's going to be funny.
Yes.
You know, and the Golden Globes are notorious for who their host is, and I want to say it's Ricky Gervais. I may not be pronouncing that right, but he goes in on every celebrity.
Yes.
Like, no.
But that's what your expectation is. I am
Right.
expecting if I am going to be somewhere and there's going to be a comedian up there, everybody's
subject.
Everybody's subject.
Listen, everybody gonna get it. You gonna get it.
Yes.
You know, we go back to, and I know you go back just like I do, the Def Comedy Jam.
Yeah.
Oh, that was, I can remember, you know, Martin Lawrence and all of them.
Right.
You came in there with some crazy on looking, they didn't care who you were.
Yep.
You know, I remember Flavor Flav back then with Public Enemy was really, really known, and everybody still know Public Enemy, and we're revealing our age, whatever. So Public Enemy was really, really known, and Flavor Flav came out to Def Comedy Jam, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while Martin is talking, Flavor Flav standing up, you know, he'll start standing up, being extra. Mm-hmm. And Martin had to check him, you know, and got him right. Everybody laughed. He talked about how ugly Flavor Flav was. Now, Flavor Flav took it like a champ. He was tripping, you know, and Martin had to get him into place because first he was introducing him like, that's Flav, that's my boy, blah, 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 but Flav started tripping. And so he had to start saying, you know, talking about how black he was, how ugly he was. Anyway, so he took it like a champ. And so Chris Rock was talking about Will Smith, said, and just, I think it was the lightest joke. I don't even think it was... He just made reference to G.I. Jane 2. Now, we'll be honest with this, and I want your opinion on this. Mm-hmm. You've seen G.I. Jane, right?
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Okay. Great movie, I'll say.
Yeah, it was a good movie, yeah.
Plight of a woman trying to be, I believe she's trying to be a SEAL, a Navy SEAL.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That ladies never, you know, they don't do that.
Right.
And one of the things she had to do was shave her hair.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And I don't know why that song from India Ari just popped in my head. I am not my hair.
Right. That's a good spin.
All right. Anyway, and not throwing shots at Jada, but anyway, he made a light joke to G.I. Jane, which was a great movie. But he made a light joke to say, "Love you, Jada. Can't wait till G.I. Jane 2."
Yes.
Which was a little slick, you know, zinger. You know, that's a zinger.
Yes.
I call it a zinger. Oh, that's probably the first time in my life I've used that word. But he gave her a little zinger, And when she laughed at first, and he was moving on, Will Smith laughed at first.
Yeah.
But then Will Smith got up, came up on the stage, and smacked. You said smack.
He smacked him.
He smacked this man. He slapped him. I have to say slap because of the disrespect of a slap versus a smack. It would have probably, to men, it would have been better if he'd went up there and hit him with his fist.
Yeah, you think so?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
But a slap.
Yeah.
A slap says, I'm not trying to knock you out.
Yeah.
I just want you to know that it was me.
Yes.
I want you to still be conscious and know it was me.
Yeah.
So he slapped him. And so what happened is that after the slap, Chris Rock just looked and was like, I just got smacked by Will Smith or whatever. And I don't know about you, but I didn't know it was real. Did you think that was real when that first happened?
No, I didn't think it was real because it just seemed like in other shows, people come up on stage. They come up on stage all the time, and
Right.
either go back after them. I forgot what one of the shows. One of the comedians was talking about somebody. One of the other comedians in the back, and the other comedian came up, and he was roasting them too. So I thought maybe it was something like that or something playful.
Exactly.
And I think everybody thought that, which is why there's no security involved. Nobody thought that it was going to come to that.
It was. So, yeah, I honestly thought they was joking.
Yeah.
I thought it was some kind of playing they was
Yeah.
doing. I guess we all kind of feel like celebrities are kind of friends.
Yeah.
And these are two black celebrities. So I was just kind of like, they giving the people something, whatever. I didn't know until Will sat back down
Yes.
and said, keep my name out your effing mouth. Now, y'all know what he said. We use F because our podcast is clean and we want to keep it clean. But he said, keep my name out your mouth. And then he says, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. I didn't know it was real until he dropped the F-bomb.
Yeah. On national TV.
On
that
national
platform.
TV. When they got to mute this man, I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was real.
Snap. That was a real one there. Honestly, I was just like, yo.
Yes.
So it make you want to go back to the slap, like, oh, this
right. You got to replay it in your mind and make it serious versus a joke.
Right. So we saw the backside of it, but we had to go back.
Right.
To rewatch the slap with this new information.
Right. Right.
That he actually is for real with
Yes. Yes.
I was like,
and back to the faces they made prior, all the way to how this started.
You got to look back at it. All right, so, let's do it like this. Let's do it because I want to talk about this. Then we're gonna get to the Will Smith aspect of it.
Okay.
Just if we were somewhere and you saw me get up. No, we're not on that because I have. We're not on that yet. I'm trying to pace myself here. What would you do? No, I can't even do that. I can't even do that because it's a man. It's a man question. So me, I look at it like this. And somebody commented on Facebook. Shout out to Eddie there. Commented on my Facebook page. Made a great point. He's a coach in high school varsity coaches basketball. Mm-hmm. He said, that is my job. That is what I'm there to do. He said Chris Rock had a job. He was doing his job, and this man decides to slap him because he personally didn't like the way he was doing his job.
Yeah.
So he superseded those who hired him to do the job.
Right.
Because he personally did not agree with what he said.
Right, yeah.
And came and put his hands on him because of that. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Look at this here. So Will Smith put his hands on him. Now, the people who hired him didn't even put hands on him.
Right.
They don't have the power to put hands on him.
Right.
All they can say is, we don't want you to do it no more.
Right.
Boom, you gone.
Yeah.
Well, we could sue you.
Right.
But do you see the point I'm making here? Where do you... So anyway, I think... Just tell me your thoughts. Because I got so much I want to say, and I don't want to overtalk you because this is personal to me. No, it's personal.
Well, my thoughts of it all. Yes, he was hired to do a certain job, and they can't just come out and say what they want to say.
Right.
Everything.
Right.
We think that things are off the fly, but not all the time. This is such a big platform, the Oscars. somebody had to go through or run through with him what would he think he would talk about, where people are seated. I know they're placed, so they know where they would be. So I'm just thinking that something went over before he came out and said anything.
And that's what I'm thinking as well.
He was doing his job, as you said, as he was hired to do.
But I think as a man, we all look at Chris Rock as a man differently now.
Yeah.
Because I've been making reference to the book by Robert Louis Stevenson, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. All of us have that duality, that dichotomy inside of us. And just because you're respectful, you're a Christian, you love God, and you speak well.
Right.
Don't mean that Mr. Hyde, a.k.a. Beast Mode,
you don't know what test is going to bring
I got to turn my head to the side. Beast Mode.
Everybody don't know what the strength of the test is going to bring it out.
Right, right. And so we don't know what that is that brings it out. I could go to another character that's like that, the Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Dr. Bruce Banner's a smart guy, but Hulk, logic ain't his thing. And look at the difference there. Hulk, the logic ain't where it is, but Dr. Bruce Banner is super smart.
Right. Yeah.
But he is weak, whereas the Hulk is super strong.
Right.
Each of us have that where we use our strength and our logic ain't necessarily there.
Yes.
That was
really good. That was good.
That one. So when he got hit, that's the thing that I'm looking at. It took a strength, because I just was expecting the Hulk. What, Rock? Why was you expecting the Hulk? Ask me that.
Rock, why was you expecting the Hulk?
Because inside of me, I know what would have happened, and Hulk would have came out and Hulk would have said Hulk smash.
Yeah.
It would have been a whole riot on that stage.
Yeah.
Oh no. Because after that slap, I would have tackled him down them stairs. We'd have been because what he did was he slapped him real quick and then walked away like he had done something.
Yes.
Do you hear me?
So what do you think about the response, though? He decided to walk away versus engage.
Will Smith?
No, Chris Rock, basically.
That's what I'm saying. I think Chris Rock has a part of God that a lot of men haven't met yet. Or inside of Chris Rock is an existence of God that we don't often express, which is there's a scripture. Y'all know we talk about God. Well, I won't say it's a scripture, but it's something that we've always heard, which is hold your peace and let the Lord fight your battle. Yeah. Actually from a song, Victory Shall Be Mine. Many of us don't know completely. We can hold our peace, but there is a point. Yeah.
Or the turn the other cheek when there's no cheeks left.
Lord. Turn the other cheek.
There's no cheeks left.
There's a... Now, Jess, you went a little far.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you went a little far there. But I'm just looking at the strength that he had to be able to. Now let's get this straight, because we're going straight into Will Smith's aspect, his perspective right after this. But looking at Chris Rock to be able to stand there, take that, and then keep it on page. Yes. He was the one with the key that would unlock chaos if he wanted to. He didn't have to do much to unlock that chaos. He would have looked crazy. Yeah. If he'd have paused and been like, "This, okay, Academy, y'all gonna let this man come on stage and just hit?" He could have challenged the whole institution. Yes. At that moment, I think there was so much weight on his shoulders to represent himself. He's hired by the Academy, so he represents the Academy more than Will Smith does.
Correct. Yeah.
Because that's his employer.
Yep. Ooh. Yeah.
And I know the Academy, after all of that, are looking at Chris Rock like we got the right one. Because there are other hosts that would have went totally wrong. Right.
Yeah, even people posting about if this was this such and such. Would have been completely different, but they didn't get hired either. So.
We got the right one because we got Chris Rock. I'm so glad we didn't get Rock Leach. after you slapped me, you'd have heard all. That's all he would have heard. Who you? That's all you listen. That would have been that'd have been cops on a whole nother level. Just gonna put that out there. Yeah. So just saying that because most men agreed that that the slap is the ultimate disrespect, especially to a black man. Yeah. It's a big no-no. All right. So, because I could talk about that all day.
I think any man,
I could talk about that all day.
ultimate disrespect. Any man being slapped in front of everybody.
You will not slap me.
The embarrassment.
Right.
Yeah.
And for Will Smith to believe that he is that strong, he has that great of a star.
Yeah.
To go on stage. And since Chris Rock is representing the Academy, the Oscars, but this wasn't the Academy Award, this is the Oscars. He was representing the Oscars. I don't even know how that whole Academy Award and Oscar thing worked. I don't even care. But I know that he was hired. Chris Rock was hired by the Oscars, so the Oscars has an obligation to protect him.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. We're gonna keep seeing this. See what
we are.
Out.
Because I'm curious. I can't wait for him to do an interview.
Yes. And I'm sure it's coming.
I want to hear what his thoughts was, what his perspective, and what part of God kept him holding his peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. So let's go. Let's move on to Will Smith. All right, and his perspective and stuff like that. Jess, go ahead. What do you think? Will Smith and his perspective. What do you think caused Will Smith to? It was a joke. It was a joke.
Yes.
Well, go ahead.
So, with me looking at it from Will Smith, we see the initial reaction that there was some kind of giggle from Jada, and then there was, Will was laughing as well. But at some point, that mood changed. And at that point, I don't know if, Jada may have said something, and I'm just, let's put me in this. I'm like, okay, did he really just say that joke? And I'm just thinking, and I have some kind of condition, really, is that funny? And then the mood changed for Will. And he's like, I'm just thinking of him at that moment. What was he thinking? Yeah. Like, because I know, people in their head, do I get up? Do I get up and say something? Do I take care of it? I'm just thinking all these things that had to be going on in his head at the time. But his ultimate decision was to get up and go slap Chris Rock. So
I can't even get past Chris Rock because a lot of men haven't met that level of strength that God gave Chris Rock to do anything. All right, so I did see the laughing at first, and honestly, and this is what makes this podcast a little unique. I actually, I agree with his response. I don't agree with his method, though. I think he could have did something different, right?
Yes.
I don't think that because he's okay. Because I'm almost going to get into our next part of this, but there's going to be a cost.
Yeah.
Right. We don't know what that is yet. It's still being tallied.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. When it's costing you a lot, that receipt thing take a long time to print.
It does. It does.
His receipt is still printing.
Especially if it's the things you missed and paid for. Don't even know it yet.
Stuff done got in your basket.
Right. All those extra fees and bottom lines.
Right. Then they got a warranty on everything that costs you another $12. Right. Anyway. So just looking at it, so Jada was initially kind of, she kind of laughed. I don't want to say it wasn't a hearty laugh. Will Smith did. She just kind of gave a little smile, leaned forward, but you could tell by her eyes she didn't like it, right?
Yeah.
Didn't even try to hide it. Will was, but I believe he had that moment. He was in Bruce Banner moment then, just ha ha ha. But he flipped.
Yes.
Quickly.
I was gonna say, no, it didn't take long.
Didn't take long, and went up on stage and handled this dude. Now, what do you think? Because I am old school, and I'm going to give you my perspective on it. I know how you feel, but we have listeners, so I want to tell. So, what do you think about? Because all Will Smith was doing was protecting his wife's honor. I believe that is something that all men should do. What do you think?
I do agree, like you said, with him protecting her honor, but I don't agree with the method because there's so much better ways to. I do think the man is responsible for protecting his wife. I mean, that's what he signed up to do. He's the leader of the house. You know, so in that aspect, I do agree with him protecting her. Especially, it's another man disrespecting her at that moment in time. So, if it had been a lady, then, it would have been for her to address it, but it was another man.
Right. So I'm just thinking, what could have been somebody, because we both agreed let's put that out there. We both agree that this is the way it's supposed to be done, but not how it's supposed to be done. So
Correct. Yeah.
we agree that he's supposed to represent for his lady. You just, because I'm a little different. I believe, the Bible talks about the man being the head.
Mm-hmm.
I just believe that there's a different level of head, which is not to say head like, I won't say head, I'm going to be careful here, but I won't say head like a high chair, the big piece of chicken. That's one of Chris Rock jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that man is the head, because, if a high chair, that's what it is. That's for babies.
Yeah.
But I believe that men are designed to be the head in not on top, but the head as far as leading what's holding everything up. So men are called to be the foundation that everything else stands on, right?
Yeah.
And that's the way I simply believe it. But let's just go here. I just want to go here. What are some other ways you think he could have handled that? What are some other? Because you're not married to Will Smith. You're married to a greater man,
Right.
And he happens to be on this podcast with you.
That's
put
right.
that out there.
Best
Put that out
man ever.
there. Let's go on.
Who
And
needs
get
a
that
Will
straight.
Smith when you got Rock Leak?
Come through. You see how my lady be talking? What I'm talking about. You get you one. Brother, listen. You need to level your game up.
This man right here.
So with looking at that, me, would you have wanted me to go up there and slap him?
No, absolutely not.
What would you have wanted your man to do? Because I'm taking notes.
You don't have to lead with a slap because you're such a great controller of environments. I mean, you could have made that environment absolutely about responding to the comment without raising a hand, without raising a finger, because you're just good like that.
Oh,
I would-
girl, listen here. Do you hear my lady talk about me? You know what I'm saying?
Some people got it, some people don't. I mean, you could have held it privately after the show, because you would understand that he's doing his job, and for him to say anything of that caliber would have been pre-checked if you know how the show is ran.
Right.
So
now, that was the thing. They did vet all of his other jokes, but that was just one. Hey, Jada, love you. Boom. It just, how you see somebody, you saying what you're saying, and you see somebody that you happy to see, be like, hey, I see you over there, like that suit, little blue, but whatever,
right,
you move
yeah.
on. And you move. That was that kind of joke. It wasn't a purposeful one. It was actually just acknowledging you.
And this is my perspective on it, and I'm not, I know people make joke of other people's conditions within. I would say you have to have clearance for certain things depending on who you're talking to. But for me, when I heard the joke, I looked at it as, next G.I. Jane and empowerment for her, because that's that could be a role that she plays.
Could have been great for women if according to how she took that.
Yeah, right. So that's the way I looked at it. I didn't know that she had a condition prior to.
No, but
she rocked that hairstyle. Looks good on her.
Yeah, she got a little bit of head. Now
It
you
looks
got
good
some
on
women
her.
got monster heads. They don't need no low.
Right.
They need all their hair,
Yes.
all the curls that come up that big dome that they walking around here with.
Yes. That's not nice.
It's not, but it's the truth. So, the thing that I look at is that Chris Rock didn't know this woman had alopecia.
Yeah.
Why does he need to keep up with Why he need to keep up with this woman's hair? He got to get doctor's orders and diagnosis of everybody in the audience before he say.
I thought it was a light joke, but also, I could see her doing that role.
Right.
Because when we seen her in other movies she's done, she's always the role she's done. I could see her in that role.
And I'm just looking at it. It's so many things, because for them to say that Chris Rock knew, for Will Smith to feel like Chris Rock knew, and I think that's another level of it. It is the judgment. We now have to question his judgment because of the actions that he took. Mm-hmm. So it makes me think about what his psychological equilibrium was at that night. His balance of his thoughts. What was it that night? What had been weighing on him? Mm-hmm. They probably had a conversation on the way to the place, like you just be letting people say anything to me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The kids could have said, daughter could have looked at him and been like, Dad, do you really love Mom? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, we don't know what happened.
And it'd be that little bitty stuff, like you're already tipping one way, right?
Right.
You're loaded, you're overloaded on one end.
Or she would have said, he better not say nothing about us tonight, because they boycotted it
all the
last
way
time.
there,
Yeah.
all the way there. And then he get there, and it's that one. He wasn't the host.
Right. Yeah.
Chris Rock was just there for that. He was not the host. He hosted in 2016. Anyway.
Wow. So many things.
But some other things that could have happened. I would have just walked up there. I would have walked up on stage. Nah, let me get this in the process of A, B, and C.
Okay.
So A, I would have stood up and applauded him without smiling.
Yeah.
And you try to be funny next time.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would have let him know I don't care about what you're doing right now. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
2, if I needed to escalate it, I would have just got up, had my wife to get up, and I would have applauded her, looking at how beautiful she is. My wife is beautiful, people. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for mentioning her in that
Yes.
great movie.
Yeah.
Took it the other direction.
Yeah.
That would have diffused it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That would have diffused it, because don't nothing take away the sting like when you go ahead and embrace it. Like
Yeah.
people trying to find out stuff about you that may have been secret, go ahead and reveal it. That way you take away how people can control your narrative.
Right. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But 3, C, exhibit C, is I would have walked up on the stage, stood right there and clapped. I would have clapped for a long time. And when I stopped, I would have said, "Can you say that last joke one more time? I need you to say that again." And I'd have walked up on him. I said, "Really? Say it again." I'd have walked up to him.
Yes.
He clearly would have knew
Yeah, he would have known.
from that. Somebody jumping. This joker is about to do something.
Right.
Because I'm getting them feelings like I was there.
It's not you, babe.
It's not me. Help me, because I feel a Hulk trying to come out.
Calm
Dr.
down.
Hyde tried to
We're
come
talking about other people.
All right, Mr. Hyde trying to come.
Nobody gets disrespected.
Anyway, I would because nobody knew he was serious till he dropped the F-bomb.
Yes.
All right.
And I wonder at one point did Chris Rock think he was serious? Well, probably at the slap, because it was
the
hard.
slap.
Yeah. He's like, wow.
Listen, his face told him.
Can you imagine?
His face told him that brother is serious.
Like, wait a minute.
Listen,
Wait a
his jaw was talking to him. Yeah, that was for real. Okay, I'm being silly now. But his face told him.
Yes. And I'm just thinking, like, all the people that was in his ear had to be talking at that moment in time.
Listen, absolute craziness.
Yes.
Absolute craziness.
Yes. Oh gosh.
So just looking at all of this,
Yeah.
So let's go to the third thing, which
Okay.
is we talked about Chris Rock, his perspective. We talked about Will Smith and his perspective. Let's go to the third thing, which is what will this cost their careers?
I think it's going to enhance it, actually.
You do?
I do. I don't think it's going to cost them anything as far as their careers, because there's so many people supporting both sides. I don't think so, because now they're talking about maybe some mental health with Will, and of course people going to draw to that. Let's help him.
Why do society always go to somebody crazy?
Because that's the easiest thing to go to.
So I'm a fan of a particular podcast, the Pivot Podcast. I always watch them.
Mm-hmm.
And so on there, they had Antonio Brown on there. Antonio Brown was notorious for walking off of the field. Listen, this man be doing stuff, right? But the media always say this man got something going on. Like he really have a mental disorder. And I'm like, nobody says that when he's in the end zone with the football.
Right. Asking what he's thinking at that time. Or
Yeah,
should we
nobody-
say, let's save him from the end zone.
He's crazy, but every team could use him.
Right. So it's to their advantage.
So is he crazy, or the other players that aren't able to get up to his caliber crazy?
Right.
Ooh,
Right.
that
It's
was
perspective.
good. That was good right there. And so anyway, because we're not talking about Antonio Brown, I'm just talking about the media will always label, dare I say, black men who are leaders but think their own ways,
Yeah.
and do things they're not used to, say that they're crazy. Kanye West, they call him crazy. Now, I do agree, some of the stuff he do is ignorant. But could it be because he's choosing to live his life a certain way?
Right. Yeah.
That we're calling that crazy? Because to say crazy is to say not normal,
Or we don't agree.
or we don't agree.
Yeah.
Now, the normality in what you agree with doesn't necessarily make it crazy. It just makes it foreign to you.
Yeah. Makes it different.
That,
You're not
and
used
so,
to.
Because people decide to go a different route, does that make them crazy? And I don't know why. I'm sorry, because I cut you off right there.
Oh, you're fine.
Because I just hear it so much.
Yes.
And nobody's having that real conversation. The media will just label you with a straitjacket.
Yeah.
And folk believe that you deserve the straitjacket.
But see, but if you think of perspective, like other people and I know this is not about the show, but it's just a side note. When the population of prison is mostly a certain, color, black race, but they get in prison versus saying that they're mental health, but other cultures get labeled as mental health and get the help. So now in this situation, we're labeling Will Smith as mental health, which is, if you think about it on that end, how do we balance that now that it is being labeled as mental health upon violence?
Yeah. I think that Will Smith needs to say, and I think he did say, it was poor choice. People make poor choices and bad decisions all the time. That don't make you crazy.
Yeah.
That just means you chose wrong. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
People that are in prison, and I'm gonna tell you that because what's in prison is more of a it's more of a legislative problem, but I believe it's a cultural problem as well, because one, Caucasian brothers and sisters, I don't have the stats, so y'all just kind of go with me, are more apt to go and talk to somebody than a black man will.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Right? And so black men will bottle it up, and it ends up being an extreme choice instead of just a bad choice.
Yeah.
And that extreme choice lands them into prison. And we are the biggest culture with don't snitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even when we need to talk to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we walking
to
around with all
things.
this weight. No, hear me, because this is your fault.
Yes.
Because what happens is we are big culturally about not snitching.
Yeah.
And truthfully, I get the loyalty. I get it. Loyalty before royalty. This is in the hood. This is what we hear. But do you know that information that you have becomes a weight, especially if it's cost somebody their lives?
Yeah.
That becomes a weight, and that's a cost.
Yeah.
That's another cost, which is what we're talking about right now. That cost. So, you're in prison, incarcerated with this weight. You're still not talking to nobody. You get out still damaged because you haven't communicated or articulated what's really going on the inside of you.
Yes.
And you know how big I am. I am a proponent. Anybody that hears me, if you need to talk to somebody, especially my African-American brothers, if you're a husband, if you're an uncle, whatever, all men, talk to somebody.
Yes.
Don't just walk around with that weight and allow that weight to become some major dysfunction in your life before you realize that you need to talk to someone. And don't let society tell you that you're some kind of snitch because you're just trying to empty yourself of this weight that you need to get off of you.
Yeah, because the last thing you need to do is let it come out at the wrong time.
Oh my goodness. And it's
that
just
weight.
become weight. You a G, because you ain't tell. Now, snitching, I believe, is more of telling the police.
Yeah.
When you talk to a counselor or a psychiatrist, they have a clinical obligation, if you will. What is it called? What is that obligation to not share your information? I forget. It's the because they can't.
The word is
that protection.
Yes. They can't share your information.
That client
confidentiality.
The confidentiality,
Yes.
that privilege. They can't share that, which makes it. And any attorney, not any attorney, but any psychiatrist, counselor that does share your information, that'll hurt their business.
Unless it's a danger to yourself or others. That's when they have to report.
Boom. But anybody that does it without it being those cases, whenever they're sharing your information with the police or anybody like that, and it's not in those cases, that does damage to their business, because folk will say that.
Right.
Nobody's coming to you. It's one thing to kill somebody. Hear me out. But that doesn't just start with the act. That starts as a thought.
Yes.
So when you go and talk to these people, you have to really acknowledge what thinking is going on in your mind, and they need to be able to recognize, well, if you're thinking like this, A, B, and C, this leads to D.
Yeah.
And we need to do something, because C is what's going to cause you to get there. So we need to do something to get you away from C. Then we can handle A and B, but I need you to understand what's going on in you.
Right.
So we then are empowered with the information, so we know what to watch out for.
Right.
I think that Will Smith needs to talk to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I believe that what it's going to cost him career-wise, we don't know. We don't know because we don't have anybody in Will Smith's position that have done something like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
used to, and what I believe something else that there's a few things that have been put out there. One, and I know I'm talking, Jess.
Oh, you're fine. This is
such
really
a
good.
great conversation to me. Is they've been talking about women. He did a disservice to women by making Jada look helpless. How do you feel about that?
That didn't make her look helpless at all. It looked like a strong couple together and operating in the way that they decided that they should operate. It didn't do anything about lessening her. Why would he want her? I mean, I would say being ladylike. Why would she get up and yell at another man and her man is sitting right here?
So the reason that hit me so good because it means something to allow your man to handle men.
Yes, absolutely.
For a woman, and I'm going to say this carefully. So would you say that's a woman staying in her place in regards to protection?
Yes, yes.
The only reason I'm saying that is because some men are not in a place where they need to be.
In that case, then you see the reverse roles. You see the woman taking over what the man's role should be.
Right.
And I'm not saying that, I know people would get on for say women should be able to take care of themselves. It's not about her taking care of herself. She's taking care of herself and the man she chose to protect her.
Right. So when it comes to me and you are who we are.
Yeah.
Unapologetically so.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to protection, that should never be your job.
Right.
Okay. All right. In regards to husband and wife, but what about the children?
The man is the protection for the house.
For the house.
Woman keeps the order inside the house.
Come on. And see, the only reason I'm bringing this up because I think that's where a lot of people see differently is, because even though we say gender roles, and I need y'all to understand what gender roles are, that's to say that the woman belongs pregnant in the kitchen. That's not saying specifically that, but it's saying that, there are some things that a woman does, like cook and all of that, clean and all of that, laundry, and there are things that men do, like go make the money, pay the bills, work on the car, take the trash out, that people have grown to believe without really stopping and thinking, what if the man can really, really burn in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Should he not cook because his daddy didn't cook and his granddaddy didn't cook?
No, I don't agree in that aspect. But that's just the roles we place ourselves.
Okay. So let me get, because we going somewhere.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast. So what would this? So Will Smith, you don't think this is gonna cost him anything?
I don't think it's gonna hurt him. I don't think it's gonna hurt him too much. It's gonna cost him future jokes being thrown at him in the future. And it's gonna help him.
Right. Okay. So that will you say will eventually help him. I think like when you go to that cash register and it's gonna cost you a lot, that receipt take a minute to come out. Right?
Yeah.
You got a lot of items on there. I think he's offended and done so many things, and there's so much that's going on with that one instance. I think the tally and the cost is still being counted up.
Yeah.
I think it's still being counted up. We don't know what this is going to cost Will Smith. However, let's look at Chris Rock. I know for a fact right now all of his shows are selling out.
Yeah. People want to see they want to see if that's when he's going to tell them how he feels.
How he maneuvers in this next moment will determine how great. I'm not even going to say this ain't going to make his career where he get up there and it's going to hurt his pocket. I think it's going to help it.
Yeah.
He's just positioning himself to make sure that it helps it the best way possible.
Right. Well, that's okay.
What do you think?
That's why I said I don't know what the sting is going to be on either side, but I think it's going to help both of them.
Okay.
I don't think it's. I don't know what I'll say the point is of the top of it's going to be, but I don't see it hurting him. But I think Chris Rock is going to do well.
I think he will too. I think he'll come out of it and he'll do well. Well, we've taken a look at this. We went at it and looked at it several ways. One of the things we wanted to make sure is that we talked about Chris's perspective, talked about Will's perspective about what he did, how it went, how it did not go, what was maybe behind the motive behind what he did. I think we kind of went through that really good, just from our perspective. There, even with mental health, even in the African American community, and what is necessary for mental health, and what is just the media labeling something. Everybody does not deserve a straitjacket for a decision.
Yes.
We need to just label that as a bad decision.
Yes.
And so we were able to get you there. Want to also give a shout out to Chris Rock and to Will Smith for doing that.
Thank you for your help.
Give a shout out to Will and Jada Smith for initiating that slap heard around the world.
Yes.
Let's do it at the same time. I think it was a little louder than that. All right. And so that's all over social media. I don't think that's ever going to die off. But we're grateful. If you would do this for me, if you would go, please rate, review, subscribe to or follow the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or whatever wherever you get your podcast from. We want you to do that. Please rate, review, and subscribe to or follow the podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. We're grateful that you all joined us today. We're getting ready to sign off. This is Rock.
And I'm Jess.
And bye.
Bye.